evening, students and parents. This is Mrs. Oves, and I'm going to be sharing with you the senior college night presentation, and I really appreciate you being here with us today. Couple things to think about. Tonight's agenda, we're going to talk about how to schedule your school counselor's appointments, and we're also going to review the application paperwork, Naviance reminders, and our FAFSA, very important FAFSA presentation information. So counselor appointments can be requested directly on our website, and I'm going to show you where to find that. So you're going to go to guidance and appointment requests, and I have Mr. Martin, so I'm going to click on this and fill out my form. It is very critical that you give him a valid email address because that's how he's going to be communicating with you, and all the school counselors will be communicating with you through your email address. So please be mindful of that. And if for those of you who have early application deadlines, we want to make sure that you're getting that appointment request in as soon as possible, because your deadlines, of course, will be creeping up on you very quickly here. So the counselors want to go over your graduation requirements, your college list, or your trade technical school list, or your military list, to make sure that you're on track for everything that you need for the application process. So I'm going to hop back to the school website and show you the paperwork that's required for all of your college applications. So I'm going to the college and career portion of the website and clicking on application forms. Here you're going to find a very critical piece of information, the college application checklist. The college application checklist will give you really important information about what you're responsible for and what the counselor is responsible for. Importantly, and I like to focus on this, you would definitely want to make sure, for those of you who are submitting SAT and or ACT scores, to go directly to College Board or ACT and send those scores directly to the institution. Now, some of you will only be sending scores to certain colleges and you're doing test optional to others. That is totally fine. You're going to go on to College Board or ACT and indicate the college code where you want those scores to be sent. So just make sure that you go through this application checklist with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that you're completing the paperwork that's required of you. So moving on, I'm going to talk about letters of recommendation really quickly. Now, for those of you who are requesting letters of recommendation or have already requested letters of recommendation, you should have indicated that on your Naviance account. Students that are asking if their letters of recommendation have been completed yet, it's very simple to find out. You simply go on to the Naviance account, and under letters of recommendation, you'll be able to see if it's in progress. It means that the teacher has completed it. If it says requested, it means that this teacher has not completed it. For those of you who are unsure how to request letters of recommendation, be sure to go on to the college and career planning portion of the website and click on video resources. And how to request a letter of recommendation video is here for you. It's about 10 minutes in length. It gives you suggestions on who to ask and how to ask, and so forth. So that is available to you, of course, as well. So I'm going to go back to the college and career planning and the application forms, and I'm going to turn your attention to the official transcript request form. Now, this form must be completed for all of your college applications, and students are asked to submit this directly in person in the guidance office to your counselor for every college or university that you apply to, and even some other post-secondary institutions like trade and technical schools. Keep in mind that for the first application, we are asking that students give their counselors a decent amount of time for transcript requests. And the reason for that is the transcript deadlines are pretty widespread, because the first application that your counselor completes is typically when they compose your letter of recommendation, run your official transcript, and complete your secondary school report. So time is really important, especially for that first application. So some of you may be applying to some southern schools that have those earlier deadlines of October 15th. So you can see here, next Wednesday is when you actually have to get that transcript request form in their hands to make sure that you're giving them adequate time to complete the necessary paperwork. So please keep those deadlines in mind. And I know it seems like ridiculously early, But again, we want to give you the best opportunity to have the strongest application, and time for your first application is very, very critical for your school counselor. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Naviance. For those of you who haven't been on Naviance or don't know your Naviance account, I want you to stop this presentation right now and email your school counselor and ask them for your logon information. This Naviance program is what we will be using for all of your college applications. And also for those of you who are having trouble or are struggling with coming up with a list of colleges, this is your one-stop shopping resource. So I'm going to hop onto Naviance and show you some of those features. And I'm under Red Rader's account here, and this is his home screen. Really importantly, college visits, where a lot of our college visits are underway, and the teachers will be receiving a list of colleges that are visiting for the week, and I will be taking attendance. Therefore, if you have to miss synchronous learning on Wednesday to attend a college visit, make sure that you get permission ahead of time. Send your teacher an email and give them a heads up, and then I will send information to the attendance office in regards to who attends so that you won't be marked absent for your class. So here's where you can find information about St. John's, and typically if you're logged on, it'll say register here and you just click on there and register. There's also a detailed tutorial on our website explaining how to take advantage of college visits if you need more information about that. So that is an overview of college visits. Now, a lot of students this week that I've met with have had questions about how do I do a college search. There's also a video tutorial on how to do a college search on our college and career site under video resources. But just a quick overview, advanced college search is the best thing going, especially if you're thinking about something like athletics, or maybe you're doing special programs and you want to do Air Force on campus, ROTC, maybe Navy on campus, and Army on campus. And then you can view your matches, which is going to show you all the colleges and universities throughout the country that offer on-campus ROTC programs. Also, you can see we're asking you to try to get your list down to 6 to 8 colleges that you're planning on applying to. Now, when I click on this colleges I'm thinking about, just as a reminder, the scattergrams are a very valuable tool for our students and our families to try to figure out whether or not they should apply to that particular college or university. As you can see here, Kane University for Red Raider is a really good fit. He is above the average for GPA as well as SAT scores. We're hopeful that he gets some scholarship money there. So that would be a particular school where, number one, we're pretty confident that he's going to get accepted, and number two, hopefully he gets some scholarship money. Now, for those of you who are asking about whether or not, if a college or university is SAT optional, if you should submit those scores. In this case for Red, he's in a really nice GPA range for the University of Central Florida, but his SAT scores are a little bit on the lower range. If the University of Central Florida is test optional this year, we should probably consider doing test optional for Red for this particular college or university. And that's a really good way to sort of gauge how a student should make that determination. And the other thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about is how to figure out how much a college or university is going to cost your family. So I'm going to go on to Rutgers cost of attendance calculator. And this is available for every single college or university. So when you're building your list, obviously you want to think about the academic competitiveness of that particular school, but you also want to create a separate list on how much it's going to cost you. So this net price calculator is required for every college and university to offer families so that you can really make well-educated decisions on whether or not that school is a financial fit, safety, or reach. So just keep that in mind as well. So that's Naviance and the cost of attendance and net price calculator. I wanted to touch base a little bit about virtual visits. Now, virtual visits are something that students can show demonstrated interest. And also, it is a great way for you to figure out if a college or university is a good fit for you. Some of the things that you can do. For example, this week I sat in on an info seminar for meteorology with Virginia Tech. that was very helpful for me as a parent because I was able to learn about the curriculum that's offered, the job opportunities that's available, and the certain types of professors that will be teaching those classes. So you can really learn a lot from virtual visits. Students can also, and parents can also sit on student panels. If you're thinking about going to a college or university that's a considerable distance, perhaps you want to reach out to the admissions office and ask them if they can give you or get you in contact with students who are a flight away or a considerable distance away, or perhaps they have student panels that discuss that. You can also reach out to special interest club advisors, coaches, and things of that nature, and schedule virtual visits. More and more colleges and universities are actually scheduling in-person limited visits. So you just want to make sure that you go to the college or university website to see what visit options you have. So they do count. In fact, I sat in on a college visit with George Washington University in DC and Boston University in, obviously, Boston. And those are two fairly selective colleges and universities. And they said they are tracking demonstrated interest, and the virtual visits count for demonstrated interest. So just keep that in mind. Some of the questions that I've received over the last month or so is, if I go test optional, what will my application look like? What is the most important feature of my application? Just keep in mind, colleges and universities are going to pay a lot of attention to your transcript. They're going to look at your courses that you've taken, the number of classes you've taken per year, and the strength of those courses. Did you challenge yourself with advanced honors or AP classes? So that'll be the main portion of your application. There is going to be a greater emphasis on your essays, and I know many of you have been working on those throughout the summer, and with your English teacher. Feel free to pass on college essays to me if you want an admissions perspective. Your English teachers are phenomenal in giving you advice about your college essays, but if you want another set of eyes that just gives you that college admissions perspective, I'm happy to do that. And then, of course, your letters of recommendation are going to be really important in your application process. And if I could just go back to that form that you filled out, make sure that you give the teacher that you're asking a good amount of information. The more information you give them on that letter of recommendation request form, the better your letter is going to be. Colleges want to know that your teachers know you. So give them as much information as possible to make those letters very, very strong for your application file. Next, in the next week and a half, we'll be doing a 2-part financial aid session. I'm hosting a virtual session on the introduction to the free application for federal student aid. And that'll be on September 28th. So look for my detailed information on that next week. We are going to be hosting an expert presenter from the New Jersey Higher Education Student Assistance Authority on how to file for financial aid grants and scholarships. And then we will be actually hosting a virtual hands-on FAFSA night where you'll be getting instructions on how to create an FSA ID, as well as what information you'll need to have handy to actually log on and complete your financial aid application with an expert in the field that evening. And you will have opportunities to ask questions as you're going through that filing process that night. So, Class of 2021 students and families, I just want to thank you so much for watching this tutorial. And again, please remember that your counselor counselors and myself are here to support you in any way that you need throughout this entire process. And don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our appointment requests are located on our website. If you're having any difficulties whatsoever, we are here for you. And we look forward to working with you and seeing you through your successful senior year of Ocean City High School.